All right, all right, all right. What's happening, everybody? It's your boy Leo. Welcome to the bird section. Had to hop on because I'm amped up, man. I've been looking at videos and pictures and everything like that from last night. And the 2024 Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles received their championship rings last night, their Super Bowl championship rings. And man, I got to tell you, man, them rings is fly. I mean, they're so fly. The wings, these wings right here, they actually come out of the ring. They extend out. That's how dope the rings are. And if you haven't seen them, man, it ain't gonna be hard to find them. All you gotta do is just go on Google or whatever and pull up the pictures and pull up the videos. But some of the takeaways that I took that I got from watching the videos and talking and not talking, but just listening to the guys talk was, like it seems to me, well, first of all, the ring ceremony is about a month and a half late. It was actually supposed to take place at the beginning of June. But because of the manufacturer of the rings, the ceremony had to be delayed another month because there were production issues and stuff. um, all taken care of. But the thing is that the guys are in that mindset of preparing for training camp, which they all report on Tuesday. And so I remember reading about how it wasn't that long. It was only like a few weeks after the Super Bowl was over. I remember reading AJ Brown talking about how he really thought that winning the Super Bowl was going to be more fulfilling than it really was. And he was like, what he realized was the fulfillment didn't come in actually winning the Super Bowl. The fulfillment came in the entire journey leading to getting to the Super Bowl. That's where he got his fulfillment from. And I thought that was real interesting because right when he said that, it was like he started training. Then it turns out that Jalen Hurts was doing the same thing. And then it turns out that Devontae Smith was doing the same thing. And same thing with Saquon. The thing with Saquon was the training staff with the team told Saquon they needed him to be off his feet for the next few months, only when necessary. But he really needed to rest his legs the whole 9 yards. And apparently he took heed to all of that, because he's fresh off a 2,000 yard season. And not that I'm looking for Saquon to do another 2,000 yard season. If the man only got us 1,400 yards, that's still a damn good season, and that's really what we need. Again, if he got 2,000, that'd be great. But at the same time, let's keep the main thing, and that is we just want to win. And so I'm sitting there and I'm listening to these guys. I've been reading this stuff, and at the ring ceremony, AJ Brown gets up and he walks over to Saquon and he says to him, "Hey man, I know it's not going to be easy, but we got to do this again." While looking at his ring, you see that mindset, that championship mindset, the thing that like these guys are, this group, that motivation for this group. I hear all the rumblings. What I'm saying, somehow or another Commander fans feel like this Von Miller piece and all this other stuff is going to be things to no. They haven't even gotten Terry McLaurin signed yet. They ain't even got his deal done yet. As of today, they haven't gotten his thing done. I listened to the Cowboy fans, and they're predicting a double digit win season. When you haven't gotten, as of today, you haven't gotten Micah done yet. As of right now, it's only 6:43 on Saturday, July 19th. As of 6:43, July 19th, Micah's deal isn't done. You don't know what your offense is going to look like under this new offensive coordinator. You don't know what your defense is going to look like under this new defensive coordinator. a lot of your main pieces aren't going to be available, like DeMar Overshown. You know, my man tore his ACL, his PCL, and his MCL. You know what I'm saying? So you may not get him back to the middle of the season. And even then, is he going to be really serviceable coming off of such a major injury? He's basically going to have a brand new knee. You know, that takes time. That takes a lot more time than people think to recover from. You know, Dak is coming off of injury where he had the hamstring ripped off the bone. Now, historically, whenever Dak has had a injury like that, you know, he's always had a career year. The thing is, though, is that how is that going to be when he's never played under this new regime either? So I'm not really putting too much stock into that. You know, there's rumblings out there that Jadon Blue is lazy or he's not really putting in the effort that he should be. You know, the things that I'm hearing about this team is crazy. And so I do think that the Cowboys fan base is really trying to convince themselves of something that, for all intent and purposes, it's going to take a few years. You guys are in a years being plural, years long rebuild. The New York Giants, the most humbled out of all the other teams in the NFC East. They are the most humbled. But what's interesting is that humility has lent itself to some notable, off-season additions. That defense is the one that I'm paying close attention to. Not sure if the offense is going to be up to par. You got Russell, you got Jameis, Malik Neighbors, and so forth. So who knows? I mean, we'll see. But they're not chirping like that. They're not talking spicy like the commander, the Bummander fans are talking. They're not hopelessly optimistic like Cowboy fans. They're just simmering, and that's actually the attitude that the other two teams ought to have too. So I just wanted to get on here real quick and just say, like, look, you know, um, health. Health is going to be our biggest issue. Can we stay healthy? Can these guys, and if we can't, do we have guys on the team who are ready to step up? We'll see. But I'm excited, happy for the guys. Congratulations to the 2024-25 Philadelphia Eagles on receiving their rings last night. You guys deserved it. Looking forward to big things to come for this year and next year. Shout out to all the other, fan base content creators. Would love to have you guys on to talk more about what's happening here, but it's cool. The thing is, again, it's just that I'm just I'm not a big believer in the things that I'm saying. What's up, Loyal? How you doing, bro? Don't underestimate us. Shoddy, he put Scotty, but I mean, I think he meant Shoddy, is coaching with a chip on his shoulder. You know what, Loyal? I get that. I get that. That is that is admirable. The problem that I have with that is that what does it look like when Brian Schottenheimer has a chip on his shoulder? Is that threatening? I don't see it being very threatening. I'm sorry, I just don't. Okay, he got a chip on his shoulder. It's Brian Schottenheimer. What does that mean? What was the results the last time he had a chip on his shoulder? What did that produce? Did it get did he go balls out and just balls to the wall and just run the gambit and won a championship? No. Did his team make it to the playoffs? No. Like, what does it look like when Shoddy Shot is upset or he has a chip on his shoulder? I would beg to say, what does it look like when Micah has a chip on his shoulder, when Dak has a chip on his shoulder, when CD has a chip on his shoulder? Like when these Cowboy players and stuff get chips on their shoulders, what does it produce? Does it produce playoff wins? Does it produce rings? Like seriously. And I mean, I'm asking because I just don't get it. He's been a coordinator for 2 years and never got a head coach job offer. Again, even in his offense, okay, so when he has a chip on his shoulder, does his running back have career years? Does the wide receivers that he has that have career years? Does the quarterback have career years? Like what does that mean? Like what I fail to understand, I fail to see the actual threat in Brian Schottenheimer having a chip on his shoulder. Because to be quite honest with you, it don't, like, okay, look, bro, what you guys eat don't make me fat, so handle it. In the meantime, we'll see you guys week 1, September 4th. Looking forward to it. I've already put it out there. I think we're gonna smash the shit out of y'all. And after what I saw and heard last night, I'm even more resolute in that thought process. But again, this is all talk without actually having played the game. And of course, everybody, it's week 1, so anybody's susceptible to losing. I just don't think it's very likely. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. I think it's highly unlikely that we'll lose that game. So looking forward to playing against y'all. You know what I'm saying? Looking forward to seeing you know what I'm saying, loyal. Love the back and forth and everything. But our boys, Mark Holmes and Game Time Brian, it's like what's happening here. So again, I just don't. I'm sorry, bro. I just don't get why I should be worried if Schottenheimer, Micah, Dak, CD, George Pickens. I just don't see what the threat is if they have a chip on their shoulders. You know, show me, don't tell me. You know what I'm saying? Don't talk the talk, walk the walk. Don't just show me. And that's the thing. What you're going to the only way that question can truly and genuinely be answered is if they actually it's going to take time. You need time. That's what's going to. And then maybe I'll take it seriously or what have you, but for the most part understand something. And I know like we're going to get everybody's best shot. We were getting that last year, but this year is going to be extreme. It's going to be especially brutal. But at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? Those teams, just like we got to play them, those teams got to play us too. And yeah, if that's what it takes to get your A game, fine. I say this: you guys have the entire training camp, okay? You shouldn't be worried. Y'all are defending champions, but we have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Yeah, that's. But you know what though? That's literally the same for all 31 teams. No difference. You know what I'm saying? No difference. All 31 teams have nothing to lose and everything to gain. You know what I'm saying? You're right, loyal. That's what comes with being all kidding. Love hurts. Yes, sir, Philly D. Peace, Philly D. I'm trying to explain to some of these folks out here that it's just one of those things where, again, I'm not really. I just don't feel the threat like that. I don't understand that. So we'll see. In the meantime, looking forward to catching up with everybody tomorrow, and during the course of the week as training camp starts. I know Cowboy fans are super excited, to get training camp going. They want to see what their new additions look like. They want to see if, going what did Schottenheimer do? He went line dancing or something, or no, Greek dancing. He did something with the guys. If all this, kumbaya stuff happens, is Micah gonna be signed by Tuesday? One would have thought that that would have been taken care of. Also on the other news front, as you can see, second rounders teams are starting to, you know, sign their second rounders. I think hopefully Andrew Makuba will be signed before the start of training camp. All the signs are pointing to that. Me too, loyal. I can't wait for camp too. You know what I'm saying? You know what though? I'm more excited about y'all camp than I am about ours. just because I want to see what this has. But here's the thing: you guys have the entire training camp to practice and prepare for week one. That's your Super Bowl. Jalen will go down best in Philly. Mike Schmidt was my favorite prior. You know what, man? You know what, Philly D? I don't tell this to very many people, but growing up, man, I love Mike Schmidt and I like Pete Rose, but I was a big Von Hayes fan. That was my guy. I like Von Hayes because it was his batting stance that I tried to mirror the most when I was playing baseball in little league and in high school. So that's my favorite player. And then of course, there's always Nails, Darren Dalton. That was my boy, and John Kruk. I liked him too. Like the old school guys that just was, hardcore. That being said, I'm gonna end the stream right now, but I just want y'all to know that, hey, training camp is upon us. The guys have turned the page, obviously, and we'll see what happens. All right. All right, y'all have a good one, man. See y'all in a day or so. Peace.